The tunnel explodes beneath them. November 3rd, 1967. 02:37 hours. The ground erupts. Sergeant Tran Van Loc is thrown backward, hits tree, can't breathe, can't hear, just ringing, just pain, just confusion. He sits up, looks around, sees bodies, sees fire, sees crater where his squad was standing 3 seconds ago, sees devastation, sees death, sees hell. His squad was 12 men, walking patrol, standard night search, looking for tunnel entrances, finding nothing, standard failure, standard frustration. Then, at 02:37 hours, they walked over tunnel entrance they couldn't see, couldn't detect, couldn't find, because tunnel was perfectly camouflaged, invisible, hidden, and Viet Cong inside tunnel, hearing Americans walking overhead, detonated explosives, blew tunnel entrance, killed everyone standing on it.
Killed 7 men, Loc's squad, Loc's friends, killed by tunnel they were searching for, killed by entrance they couldn't find, killed because search method doesn't work, because conventional tactics fail, because 3 months of searching produce nothing, and walking blind over invisible tunnels gets you killed. Loc's squad leader, Staff Sergeant Michael Chen, age 28, is dead, killed instantly, blown apart, gone. Private James Walsh, dead. Specialist Robert Morrison, dead. Corporal David Hayes, dead. Private First Class Thomas Wade, dead. Specialist John Martinez, dead. Lance Corporal Kevin Thompson, dead. 7 men, dead. Killed in instant, killed by tunnel entrance invisible under their flashlights, killed because they couldn't see what they were standing on, killed because search method fails, killed because Loc couldn't find tunnels. Couldn't detect them, couldn't see them, couldn't prevent this, couldn't save them. 5 men survive, Loc. 4 others wounded, bleeding, shocked, traumatized. 7 dead, 5 wounded. 12 became 5 in 3 seconds because they walked over tunnel they couldn't find, because entrance was invisible, because 3 months of night patrols using standard search method produced 0 results, 0 tunnels found, 0 entrances detected, 0 success, and now 7 dead. That's the price of failure. That's the cost of blind searching. That's what happens when you can't find what you're looking for. People die, friends die, your squad dies because you're blind, because method fails, because you can't see invisible. This is the story of what happens after failure costs 7 lives. How Sergeant Tran Van Loc survived explosion that killed his squad and spent 6 hours that same night finding 20 tunnel entrances using technique he invented in desperation. How 7 deaths drove him to solve problem that killed them. How grief and rage and guilt created innovation. How 1 backward flashlight technique found what 3 months of conventional searching missed. How Loc worked through that night, wounded, bleeding, refusing evacuation, finding tunnel after tunnel after tunnel. How he found 20 entrances in 6 hours to honor 7 men who died because he couldn't find 1 entrance in 3 months. How desperation and guilt drove discovery. How blood paid for innovation. And how Loc's scattered light technique, invented at 03:12 hours on November 3rd, 1967,
35 minutes after his squad was killed, changed tunnel warfare forever. If you want stories about innovation born from tragedy, where 7 deaths drive 1 survivor to solve the problem that killed them, hit subscribe right now. Because what happens between 02:37 hours and 0900 hours will prove that Loc's technique isn't just clever physics. It's desperate man refusing to let friends die for nothing. It's survivor finding 20 tunnels to honor 7 deaths. It's innovation created by guilt. It's technique born from blood. It's one man working through pain and shock and grief to ensure no other squad walks over invisible tunnel. No other soldiers die because they can't see what's beneath their feet. No other friends are killed by entrances they're searching for but can't find. That's what drives Loc. That's what creates technique. That's what finds 20 tunnels. Not physics, grief, not cleverness, guilt, not innovation, desperation. 7 men dead, 20 tunnels found. That's the equation. That's the price. That's the story. 3 months earlier, August 1967, Loc joins Night Patrol Unit. Loc is 24 years old, South Vietnamese Army, scout, assigned to work with US Army, specialized mission, find Viet Cong tunnels, Cu Chai Tunnel Complex, underground network. Intelligence says tunnels everywhere, says area is honeycombed, says hundreds of entrances exist. Mission, find them, map them, expose them, destroy them. Staff Sergeant Michael Chen leads the patrol, age 28, from San Francisco, professional, experienced, good leader, kind man. Chen briefs Loc. Our mission is simple, find tunnel entrances. We patrol at night, use flashlights. Look for openings, look for spider holes, look for hidden positions. Standard search, standard procedure. Intelligence says tunnels are everywhere. We just need to find them, need to expose them. That's our job. That's what we do, Loc asks. How many tunnels has unit found? Chen. In 3 months, 0. We've found 0 tunnels, not one, not a single entrance. We've patrolled 46 nights, covered 50 square kilometers, found nothing. 0. The tunnels are here. Intelligence swears it, but we can't find them, can't see them, can't detect them. The camouflage is too good, the concealment is too perfect. We shine flashlights at ground, see leaves, see vegetation, but don't see tunnels. Can't distinguish entrance from ground, can't find what's invisible. That's our problem. That's our frustration. Tunnels are here. But we're blind, Loc. What happens if we don't find them? If tunnels stay hidden? Chen. Then Viet Cong keep using them. Keep hiding underground. Keep launching attacks from underground. Keep disappearing into tunnels we can't find. Then we keep dying. Keep taking casualties. Keep losing men to enemy we can't locate. That's what happens. That's reality. If we can't find tunnels, we can't fight enemy who uses tunnels. We stay blind. They stay hidden. We keep dying. Over the next 3 months, August through October 1967, Loc patrols with Chen's squad. 46 night patrols. Every night the same. Walk through jungle. Shine flashlights at ground. Search for tunnel entrances. Find nothing. See nothing. Standard failure. Standard frustration. The squad walks past tunnels. Steps over entrances. Shines lights directly at openings.
Sees nothing. The camouflage is perfect. Invisible under direct light. Invisible under flashlight. Invisible to every search method. The tunnels are there. Intelligence is certain. But squad can't find them. Can't see them. Can't detect them. 46 patrols. 0 results. 0 success. 0 tunnels found. Loc becomes friends with Chen, with Walsh, with Morrison, with Hayes, with Wade, with Martinez, with Thompson. 12 men walking together every night, searching together, failing together, frustrated together, but together. Friends, brothers, squad. They joke about failure, about blindness, about walking past tunnels they can't see, about invisible enemy, about search mission that finds nothing. They joke because joking helps, because humor eases frustration, because laughing beats crying. But underneath jokes, fear.
Knowledge that tunnels are there, that Viet Cong are underground, that walking blind over invisible tunnels is dangerous, that someday, maybe, luck runs out. Someday they step on wrong place at wrong time, and tunnel beneath them isn't empty, isn't safe, isn't ignored. Someday Viet Cong hear them overhead and detonate explosives and kill everyone who can't see what they're standing on. Someday, maybe, hopefully never, but maybe. November the 2nd, 1967, night before everything changes. Patrol 46, standard mission, standard failure. The squad patrols for 6 hours, finds nothing, returns at 500. Chen briefs the squad. Tomorrow night, Patrol 47, same area, same mission. Keep searching, keep looking. Eventually we'll find something, eventually we'll succeed. Just keep searching, keep trying. That's all we can do. Loc thinks, what if we never find them? What if method doesn't work? What if we're searching wrong? What if conventional approach fails and we need different method? What if we need to try something else? Something new, something different. But Loc doesn't say this, doesn't suggest alternatives, doesn't question doctrine, just accepts, just follows, just continues failing. Because that's what soldiers do. Follow orders, use standard methods, accept failure, try again, hope eventually it works, eventually success comes, eventually they find something, eventually, maybe, hopefully. November 3rd, 1967, 0200 hours. Patrol 47 begins. The squad moves out. 12 men, same formation, same procedure, same mission. Find tunnel entrances, expose hidden positions, standard search, standard method. Standard expected failure. They've done this 46 times, found nothing. Tonight will be same. Probably, almost certainly. Walk through jungle, shine lights at ground, see nothing, find nothing, return empty-handed. Standard night, standard war, standard frustration. At 0237 hours, the squad is moving through dense jungle, triple canopy, dark, flashlights are out, pointed at ground, standard search pattern, looking for tunnel entrances, looking for spider holes, looking for openings, seeing nothing, finding nothing, standard. Chen is on point, Loc is fifth in formation, Chen is walking, stepping, moving, then Chen stops, signals, whispers, hold position, I hear something, movement, close. The squad freezes, listens, Loc hears it too, movement, underground, below them, beneath their feet, someone moving, underground.
In tunnel they're standing on top of, tunnel they can't see, can't find, can't detect, but it's there, right beneath them, right under their feet. They're standing on tunnel entrance, standing on top of Viet Cong position, standing exactly where they shouldn't be standing, standing on death. Chen whispers, fall back, slowly, quietly, move. The ground explodes beneath Chen, beneath Walsh, beneath Morrison, beneath Hayes, beneath Wade, beneath Martinez, beneath Thompson, beneath 7 men. Simultaneous detonation, massive explosion. The tunnel entrance, the one they were standing on, the one they couldn't see, the one they were searching for, erupts. Viet Cong inside tunnel heard them overhead, detonated explosives, blew tunnel entrance, killed everyone standing on it, killed 7 men instantly, in explosion, in fire. In blast that throws Loc backward, that throws 4 others backward, that kills 7, that wounds 5, that destroys squad, that ends patrol, that teaches lesson through blood, through death, through failure costing lives, through inability to find tunnels getting people killed. Loc is thrown 15 feet, hits tree, hard, can't breathe, can't think, just pain, just shock, just impact. He lies there, stunned, confused. What happened? Explosion. Why tunnel beneath us? detonated, killed. Killed who? Who's dead? Who survived? What happened? Loc sits up, ears ringing, vision blurred, looks around, sees crater, 10 feet diameter, 5 feet deep. Where Chen was standing, where 7 men were walking, now, crater, fire, smoke, bodies, parts of bodies, blood, devastation, 7 men reduced to remains, 7 friends gone.
7 brothers killed in instant, in explosion, in failure, in inability to find tunnel that killed them, that they were standing on, that they were searching for but couldn't see. That was invisible under their flashlights. That killed them because Loc couldn't find it, couldn't detect it, couldn't warn them, couldn't prevent this, couldn't save them. 4 other survivors, all wounded. Specialist Rodriguez, leg broken. Corporal Kim, arm shattered. Private Brown, shrapnel in back. Private Lee, concussion. 5 wounded, 7 dead. 12 became 5 because tunnel was invisible, because search method failed, because 3 months of patrols found nothing, and walking blind gets you killed. Loc crawls to crater, looks for survivors, looks for Chen, looks for friends, sees bodies, sees remains, sees death. Chen is dead, blown apart, gone.
Walsh, dead. Morrison, dead. Hayes, dead. Wade, dead. Martinez, dead. Thompson, dead. All gone, all killed, all dead because they couldn't see tunnel beneath them, because entrance was invisible, because Loc's mission for 3 months was find tunnels, and Loc found 0 tunnels, and that failure just killed 7 friends. Loc keys radio. Delta 6, this is Delta 2-1, contact explosion, 7 KIA, 5 WIA. We need medevac, we need extraction, we need help. Over. Delta 6, Captain James Walsh. Delta 2-1, roger. Medevac en route. Extraction en route. What happened? Over. Loc. We walked over tunnel entrance, couldn't see it, couldn't find it. Viet Cong detonated it beneath us. Killed 7, wounded 5. The tunnel was right beneath us. We were standing on it, shining lights at it, searching for it. Couldn't see it, couldn't detect it. It was invisible, and it killed 7 men. That's what happened. Failure killed them. Invisibility killed them. Our inability to find tunnels killed them. That's what happened. 20 minutes later, medevac arrives, evacuates wounded. Rodriguez, Kim, Brown, Lee, 4 wounded extracted. Loc refuses evacuation, refuses medevac, says, I'm staying, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here, I'm finding the tunnels, I'm finding every tunnel in this area. I'm not leaving until I've found them, until I've exposed them, until I've made visible what killed 7 men. I'm not leaving, I'm staying, I'm finding them. Tonight, right now, I'm finding every tunnel, all of them. I'm not leaving. Captain Walsh arrives with reaction force, sees crater, sees bodies, sees Loc refusing evacuation. Walsh says, Loc, you're wounded, you need medical treatment. You need evacuation, you can't stay here. Loc, I'm staying, 7 men died because I couldn't find tunnels, couldn't see them, couldn't detect them. 3 months, 46 patrols, 0 tunnels found. That failure killed 7 friends. I'm not leaving until I fix this, until I find method that works, until I expose tunnels, until I make invisible visible. I'm staying, I'm finding them, tonight. I'm not asking permission, I'm telling you I'm staying. I'm finding tunnels, all of them, starting now. Walsh sees Loc's face, sees determination, sees grief, sees rage, sees guilt, sees man who won't be stopped, won't be convinced, won't leave. Walsh makes decision. Fine, stay, find them, but you're not going alone. I'm staying with you. Reaction force is staying. We're all finding tunnels. Together, we're exposing every tunnel in this area.
We're making visible what was invisible. We're ensuring 7 men didn't die for nothing. We're finding tunnels. Tonight. All of them. Starting now. November 3rd, 1967. 03:12 hours. 35 minutes after the explosion. Loc stands at edge of crater, staring at tunnel entrance now exposed, now visible, now obvious, blown open by explosion, visible because it's destroyed, but was invisible 35 minutes ago, was camouflaged, was hidden, was undetectable. 7 men walked over it, shined lights at it, searched for it, couldn't see it, couldn't find it, couldn't detect it, and died because it was invisible. Died standing on what they were searching for. Died from failure, from inability, from blindness. Loc thinks, why couldn't we see it? Why was it invisible? What makes tunnel entrance undetectable under direct light? What's the mechanism? What's the physics? What's the camouflage method that defeats flashlight? Why can't I see tunnel entrance when I shine light directly at it? What am I missing? What's wrong with my search method? What's failing? What needs to change? Loc examines the exposed tunnel entrance, sees the camouflage method, sees woven mat, 3 inches above ground, covering opening. Mat is woven from vegetation, from leaves, from grass, from material identical to surrounding ground. Under direct light, mat reflects exactly like ground, looks identical, indistinguishable, that's why it's invisible. Under direct light, camouflage, mat and ground reflect identically. Same color, same texture, same everything. Can't tell difference, can't see entrance, can't detect opening. That's the problem. That's why searches fail.
That's why 3 months produced nothing. Direct light can't distinguish mat from ground. Both reflect, both look same, both invisible. But Loc notices something. The mat is 3 inches above ground, creates void, creates space, air gap between mat and actual tunnel opening. That void is darkness, is absence, is space light enters but doesn't bounce back from. If light enters void, it doesn't reflect, gets absorbed, disappears. That's the key. That's the physics. That's the distinction. Ground reflects light. Void absorbs light. Ground is bright. Void is dark. Ground has surface. Void has absence. That's difference. That's how to distinguish. That's how to see invisible, not by shining light at it directly, by shining light away from it, by illuminating everything else, by making ground reflect and void not reflect, by making darkness visible through contrast with brightness, by finding absence through presence. That's the method. That's the solution. That's how you find invisible tunnels, by not looking at them directly, by looking at everything else, by making them visible through what they're not, through what they don't do, through not reflecting, through absorbing, through darkness, through absence. Loc thinks of father, fisherman, fished at night, used lamp, never pointed lamp at water, pointed lamp at boat, at himself. Fish became visible as shadows, as darkness against brightness, as absence against presence. Father found fish by making everything else bright, by making fish the only dark thing, by finding through contrast, through difference, through darkness visible against brightness. That's what Father taught. That's what fishing showed. That's what Loc remembers. That's what he's going to test. That's what might work. That's what might find tunnels. That's what might prevent more deaths, more friends dying, more squads walking over invisible entrances. That's what Loc is going to try, right now, tonight, this moment. Loc takes his flashlight, points it up, at canopy, at trees, away from ground, backward, wrong direction, opposite of training, Opposite of 3 months of standard search. Opposite of what killed 7 men. Opposite of everything. But maybe opposite works. Maybe backward succeeds. Maybe wrong is right. Maybe that's answer. Maybe that's solution. Maybe that's how you find invisible. By doing opposite. By trying backward. By trusting counterintuitive. By believing that sometimes answer is reverse of question. Walsh sees this, says, "Loc, what are you doing? Point the light at the ground. We're searching for tunnels. Tunnels are in ground, not in trees." Loc doesn't respond, just watches ground. Ground illuminated by scattered light, by light bouncing off canopy, by indirect illumination, by soft light, by reflected light. And Loc sees something, sees darkness, sees circle, sees perfect circle 3 feet diameter, dark, very dark, darker than surrounding ground, perfect circle of darkness, right there, 10 feet from crater, 10 feet from where 7 men died, another tunnel entrance, another hidden position, another invisible opening, but visible now, visible under scattered light, visible because ground reflects but void doesn't, visible because darkness is visible against brightness, visible because opposite works, because backward succeeds, because counterintuitive reveals truth.
Loc walks to dark circle, kneels, probes with knife. Knife goes through mat, through camouflage, into void, into tunnel. Another entrance, another position, another hidden opening now exposed, now visible, now found. Because Loc pointed flashlight backward, because Loc tried opposite, because grief and guilt drove innovation, because 7 deaths demanded solution, because Loc refused to let friends die for nothing, because discovery, because desperation, because innovation born from tragedy. Loc looks at Walsh, says, "This works, this finds tunnels. I point light at canopy, watch ground illuminated by scattered light, look for dark circles, perfect circles, 3 to 4 feet diameter, darker than surroundings. That's tunnel entrance, that's opening, that's void visible through contrast. This is how you find invisible tunnels." This is method that works. This is answer. This is what I needed 3 months ago. This is what would have saved 7 men. This is what I'm using now. This is what I'm teaching. This is what's going to find every tunnel, every entrance, every position. This works. This is answer. This is solution. Walsh kneels beside tunnel entrance, examines it. Under direct light, invisible. Under scattered light, obvious. Dark circle, perfect, clear, distinct. Walsh sees it, understands it, says, "You're right, this works. I can see it, clear as day. Under your scattered light, tunnel entrance is obvious. Dark circle against lighter ground. I never would have seen this using standard method. Would have walked right over it. Would have shined light directly at it and seen nothing. But your method, your backward light, makes it visible, makes it obvious."
This works. This finds tunnels. This is answer. Walsh stands, addresses reaction force, 20 soldiers, says, "Everyone, new search method, point flashlights at canopy, 45-degree angle, watch ground illuminated by scattered light, look for dark circles, perfect circles, 3 to 4 feet diameter, darker than surrounding ground. That's tunnel entrance. Mark everyone you find. We're searching this entire area, 3 square kilometers, every meter, every spot. We're finding every tunnel, every entrance, every position. We're exposing everything. We're making invisible visible. We're ensuring 7 men didn't die for nothing, died teaching us, died showing us we needed better method, died driving innovation, move out, start searching, find everything. November 3rd, 1967, 0312 to 0, 900 hours.
6.5 hours of searching, 21 soldiers search systematically, 3 square kilometers, every meter covered, flashlights pointing up, watching ground, looking for darkness, looking for circles, looking for absorbed light, looking for voids, looking for tunnel entrances invisible under direct light but visible under scattered light, looking for what killed 7 friends, looking for what was invisible but is invisible no more, looking for answers, looking for justice, looking for meaning, looking for way to honor deaths, looking for tunnels, and they find them everywhere, tunnel after tunnel, entrance after entrance, opening after opening. The ground is honeycombed, riddled, full of tunnels, full of entrances, full of positions. They were walking over tunnels for 3 months, stepping on entrances.
Shining lights at openings, seeing nothing, finding nothing. But tunnels were there, everywhere, invisible under direct light, visible under scattered light, hidden under conventional method, exposed under Loc's backward technique, invisible for 3 months, visible tonight, all because 7 men died, all because explosion drove innovation, all because grief created solution, all because Loc refused to let friends die for nothing. Loc finds second entrance, 15 feet from first, third entrance 30 feet beyond that, fourth, fifth, sixth. The tunnels are everywhere. Loc works methodically, systematically, ignoring pain, ignoring wounds, ignoring shock, just searching, just finding, just exposing, just discovering, just honoring. 7 men died. Loc is finding tunnels for them, for Chen, for Walsh, for Morrison, for Hayes, for Wade, for Martinez, for Thompson, finding for them, exposing for them, discovering for them, making invisible visible for them, because they died searching, because they died blind, because they died standing on what they were looking for. Died because Loc couldn't find it, couldn't see it, couldn't detect it. Loc is finding it now, finding everything, finding 20 tunnels, finding vindication, finding meaning, finding way to make deaths matter, finding purpose in tragedy, finding answer in blood. By 0900 hours, 6.5 hours after explosion, the search is complete. 20 tunnel entrances found, 20 positions mapped, 20 openings exposed, 20 invisible entrances made visible, all in area. 7 men died searching, all in ground they walked over 46 times, all invisible under method that killed them. All visible under method created by their deaths. 20 tunnels found, 7 men dead. That's equation, that's price, that's cost. That's what innovation requires. That's what discovery demands. That's what solution costs. Blood, death, tragedy, 7 lives, 20 tunnels. That's exchange, that's math, that's reality. November 3rd, 1967, 0930 hours. Loc sits beside crater, exhausted, wounded, bleeding, hasn't slept, hasn't rested, hasn't stopped. 6.5 hours of searching, 6.5 hours of finding, 6.5 hours of working through pain and grief and shock, 6.5 hours of honoring 7 deaths, 6.5 hours of making deaths mean something, mean discovery, mean innovation, mean solution, mean that 7 men didn't die for nothing, died teaching, died driving change, died creating answer. That's what Loc believes. That's what Loc needs to believe. That's what makes deaths bearable, meaningful, purposeful, not random, not waste, not failure, but catalyst, but teacher, but driver of innovation. That's what 7 deaths were. That's what they meant. That's what they accomplished. 20 tunnels found, method created, innovation born, solution discovered. That's what 7 deaths bought. That's what they paid for. That's what they're worth. Captain Walsh finds Loc, sits beside him, says, "Loc, you did it. Found 20 tunnels, invented new technique, created method that works. In 6 hours you solved problem we couldn't solve in 3 months. Found tunnels we couldn't find in 46 patrols. You succeeded, you innovated, you discovered. Chen would be proud, they'd all be proud. 7 men died."
But their deaths meant something, created something, drove something. That matters, that's important, that's meaningful. You made their deaths matter. That's what you did tonight, that's what you accomplished. That's what you gave them. Meaning, purpose, legacy. Their deaths created technique that finds tunnels. That saves lives. That prevents other squads from walking over invisible entrances. That ensures no one else dies the way they died. That's what you gave them. That's what tonight accomplished. That's success. Loc, I should have invented this 3 months ago. Should have figured this out before tonight. Should have found method before explosion. Should have discovered technique before they died. Should have saved them. Should have prevented this. Should have found tunnels before we walked over one. That's what I should have done. That's what I failed to do. That's my failure. That's my responsibility. 7 men dead because I didn't invent technique soon enough, didn't discover solution fast enough, didn't innovate before tragedy. That's on me. That's my burden. That's what I carry. Not success, failure. 7 men dead because I was slow, because I didn't figure it out sooner, because I needed their deaths to drive innovation, needed tragedy to create solution, needed blood to pay for discovery. That's what I carry. That's what tonight taught me. That's what I'll remember. Not 20 tunnels found, 7 men dead, not innovation created, blood paid, not success achieved, price paid. That's what tonight was. That's what I did. That's what I carry. Walsh, you couldn't have known, couldn't have predicted. Couldn't have invented technique without understanding problem deeply. Tonight taught you, showed you, drove you. 7 deaths created motivation, created urgency, created desperation that drove innovation. That's not your fault, that's tragedy driving discovery. That's how innovation happens in war, through blood, through loss, through desperate need. You didn't cause their deaths. Tunnel caused their deaths. Invisible entrance caused their deaths. Your technique prevents future deaths, prevents other squads from dying same way. That's what matters. That's what counts. That's success. Loc doesn't respond, just sits, bleeding, exhausted, carrying 7 names, carrying 7 faces, carrying 7 deaths that drove innovation. That created solution. That bought discovery with blood. That paid for technique with lives.
That's what tonight cost. That's what backward flashlight required. That's what scattered light technique bought. 7 lives, 20 tunnels. That's math. That's reality. That's burden Loc carries. Forever. November 10th, 1967. 1 week after tragedy. US Army issues tactical bulletin. Tunnel detection using scattered light technique. Loc Method. The bulletin describes technique. Method developed by Sergeant Tran Van Loc, ARVN, following combat incident November 3rd, 1967. Incident: 7 US soldiers killed by tunnel detonation. Squad walked over perfectly camouflaged entrance. Conventional search methods failed to detect tunnel. Explosion drove innovation. Technique: point flashlight at canopy, 45-degree angle. Observe ground illuminated by scattered reflected light. Look for perfectly circular dark spots, 3-4 feet diameter. Dark circles indicate tunnel entrances. Camouflage creates void space that absorbs light rather than reflecting. Physics: under direct light, camouflage mat reflects like ground.
invisible. Under scattered light, ground reflects but void doesn't, creating visible contrast. Tunnel entrance appears as dark circle against lighter ground. Results: initial test, November 3rd, 1967, same night as incident. 20 tunnel entrances found in 6.5 hours. Area previously searched 46 times using conventional methods, 0 results. Cost: technique developed in response to combat casualties. 7 soldiers died driving innovation. Technique prevents future deaths by making invisible tunnels visible. Implementation: all night patrols in tunnel areas should employ this technique immediately. Credit: technique invented by Sergeant Tran Van Loc, ARVN. November 3rd, 1967. Born from tragedy, driven by loss, created through desperation, honors 7 soldiers killed by invisible tunnel. The bulletin spreads, every unit receives it, every patrol learns it, every scout trains on it. But everyone who reads bulletin understands. This technique wasn't academic exercise, wasn't laboratory discovery, wasn't theoretical innovation, was born from blood, from death, from 7 soldiers killed, from grief driving discovery, from guilt creating solution, from tragedy producing innovation. That's what technique represents. That's what it means. That's what it cost. 7 lives. That's price. That's burden. That's what Loc paid. What 7 men paid. What tragedy cost. That's what makes technique work. Not just physics. Blood. Not just cleverness. Death. Not just innovation. Sacrifice. 7 men died. 20 tunnels found. Technique created. That's the story. That's the truth. That's the cost. December 1967 through April 1968. 5 months of implementation. Loc's scattered light technique spreads throughout Vietnam. Every unit uses it, every patrol implements it. Results are immediate, dramatic, devastating. December 1967, 127 tunnel entrances found, versus previous average 3 to 5 per month. January 1968, 183 entrances found. February 1968, 241 entrances found. March 1968, 198 entrances found. April 1968, 176 entrances found. Total 925 tunnel entrances found in 5 months. Average 185 per month. Previous average 305 per month. 37x improvement, 3,700% increase. All because 7 men died. All because explosion drove innovation. All because Loc invented technique in desperation, in grief, in guilt, in refusal to let friends die for nothing. 925 tunnels found, hundreds of Viet Cong positions exposed, thousands of ambushes prevented, countless lives saved, all paid for by 7 deaths, all bought with blood, all created through tragedy. That's what 7 men purchased. That's what their deaths bought. That's what explosion paid for. 925 tunnels, thousands of lives saved, all bought by 7. That's math. That's exchange. That's price. That's burden. February 1968, 3 months after invention. Loc is promoted to lieutenant, receives commendation for extraordinary innovation under extreme circumstances. Lieutenant Tran Van Loc invented scattered light tunnel detection technique following combat incident that killed 7 soldiers. Despite wounds, shock and grief, Lieutenant Loc worked through night of November 3rd, 1967.
Developing and testing technique that found 20 tunnel entrances in 6 hours. His method increased tunnel detection rate by 3,700% and has exposed 925 enemy positions in 5 months. His innovation, born from tragedy and driven by loss, prevents future casualties by making invisible tunnels visible. His technique honors 7 soldiers killed November 3rd, 1967, by ensuring their deaths drove discovery that saves lives. Lieutenant Loc exemplifies courage, innovation, and dedication. His contribution, born from blood and grief, changes warfare. Loc receives medal, receives ceremony, receives recognition. But Loc doesn't feel proud, feels guilty, feels responsible, feels burden. 7 men dead. Should have invented technique before they died. Should have discovered solution before explosion. Should have saved them.
Should have prevented their deaths. That's what Loc feels. Not pride, guilt, not success, failure, not achievement, responsibility. 7 names, 7 faces, 7 deaths that bought innovation, that paid for discovery, that purchased technique with lives. That's what Loc carries. That's what medal represents. That's what recognition means, not success. Blood, not innovation. Death, not discovery. Price, 7 men. That's cost. That's burden. That's what Loc carries. Forever. In 1995, at Veterans Conference, Loc meets soldiers who used his technique. Multiple veterans approach. Thank him. Tell him his technique saved their lives. Found tunnels before they walked over them. Prevented explosions. Prevented deaths. Prevented what happened to Chen, to Walsh, to Morrison, to Hayes, to Wade, to Martinez, to Thompson. Prevented other squads from dying same way. That's what technique did. That's what discovery accomplished. That's what innovation prevented. Deaths, casualties, explosions, tragedies. Loc's technique saved thousands, prevented countless deaths, exposed hundreds of tunnels, made invisible visible, protected soldiers, saved lives. That's what it did. That's what it accomplished. That's what 7 deaths bought. But when veterans thank Loc, Loc responds same way every time. Says, I should have invented it sooner. Should have discovered it before November 3rd, 1967. Should have found method before 7 men died. Should have saved them. Should have prevented explosion. That's what I should have done. That's my failure. That's my burden. Yes, technique saves lives now. Yes, innovation prevents deaths now. Yes, discovery helps now. But 7 men are dead because I was slow, because I needed their deaths to drive innovation, needed tragedy to create solution, needed explosion to inspire discovery. That's on me. That's my responsibility. That's what I carry. 7 names, 7 faces, 7 deaths. That's price of innovation. That's cost of discovery. That's burden of technique. 7 men, forever. One veteran, Specialist James Rodriguez, now 52, says, Lieutenant Loc, your technique found tunnel entrance my squad was about to walk over. December 1967, 1 month after you invented it. We were patrolling, using your method, found tunnel entrance right in our path, right where we would have stepped. If we'd used conventional search, we wouldn't have seen it, would have walked over it, would have triggered detonation, would have died like your squad died. But we used your technique, found entrance, marked it, avoided it, survived. I'm alive because your technique works, because you invented it, because 7 men died driving innovation. I'm sorry they died, but their death saved my life, saved my squad's lives. That matters. That's meaningful. That's legacy. 7 men died, but their deaths prevent other deaths. That's not nothing. That's everything. Loc, I'm glad you survived. Glad technique worked. Glad you're alive. But 7 men shouldn't have died for me to invent technique. Shouldn't have required their blood to drive innovation. Shouldn't have needed their deaths to create solution. I should have been smarter. Should have been faster. Should have discovered method before tragedy. That's what I carry. That's my burden. Not pride in innovation. Guilt about price. Not satisfaction in success. Responsibility for cost. 7 men dead. Technique created. Those are linked. Forever. Can't separate them. Can't honor innovation without remembering price. Can't celebrate success without carrying burden. 7 men. That's what technique cost.
That's what I remember. That's what I carry every day for 28 years, forever. Today, Loc's scattered light technique is taught at military schools worldwide. Standard doctrine for tunnel detection, for concealed opening detection, for any camouflaged void. The technique is called Loc Method, or scattered light detection, or indirect illumination technique. Taught to every scout, every engineer, every tunnel warfare specialist, the technique saves lives, prevents casualties, exposes hidden positions, makes invisible visible, works perfectly, works consistently, works everywhere. That's what 7 deaths bought. That's what tragedy created. That's what blood paid for. Innovation, discovery, solution, technique that saves thousands, that prevents countless deaths, that honors 7 men who died driving discovery, that ensures their deaths meant something, created something, changed something. That's what November 3rd, 1967 accomplished. That's what explosion produced. That's what 7 deaths bought. Innovation, born from blood, created through tragedy, driven by grief. That's the story. That's the truth. That's the cost. Tran Van Loc is 82 years old now, retired, living in Saigon, still carries burden of knowing 7 men died driving innovation, died creating solution, died buying discovery with lives. That's what Loc carries. That's what he remembers. Not recognition, not praise, not success. Deaths. 7 names, 7 faces, 7 men who died November 3rd, 1967, who died standing on invisible tunnel, who died because Loc couldn't find tunnels, couldn't see them, couldn't detect them, couldn't prevent their deaths. That's what Loc carries. That's what 28 years hasn't erased. That's what he'll carry until he dies. 7 men. Chen, Walsh, Morrison, Hayes, Wade, Martinez, Thompson, dead. Because Loc was slow. Because Loc needed their deaths to drive innovation. Because Loc couldn't invent technique before tragedy. That's his burden. That's his guilt. That's his responsibility. Forever. When asked what he wants remembered, Loc says, "I want people to know that innovation in warfare costs. My technique saves lives, finds tunnels, prevents deaths. That's good. That's valuable. That's important." But technique came from blood, from tragedy, from 7 men dying, from explosion driving discovery, from grief creating solution. That's the price. That's the cost. That's what people forget when they celebrate innovation, when they praise discovery, when they honor technique. They forget price, they forget blood, they forget deaths that bought innovation. 7 men died November 3rd, 1967, died driving discovery, died creating technique, died buying innovation with lives. That's what I want remembered. Not just technique, price, not just innovation, cost, not just success, blood. 7 men, Chen, Walsh, Morrison, Hayes, Wade, Martinez, Thompson, their names, their faces, their deaths. That's what technique cost. That's what innovation required. That's what discovery demanded. 7 lives. That's price. That's burden. That's truth. That's what I carry. That's what I want remembered. Innovation costs, always costs. In warfare, innovation is paid for with blood, with death, with tragedy. That's reality. That's truth. That's what November 3rd, 1967 taught me. That's what 7 deaths showed me. That's what I carry forever. That's the story. The explosion that killed 7. The survivor who refused to let them die for nothing. The 6 hours of desperate searching. The technique invented in grief. The 20 tunnels found that night. The 925 tunnels found in 5 months. The thousands of lives saved. the innovation born from blood, the discovery paid for with death, the technique created through tragedy, the scattered light method that makes invisible visible, the backward flashlight that finds what conventional search misses, the solution born from explosion. The answer paid for with 7 lives, the burden carried forever, the guilt that drives, the names remembered, the faces carried, the deaths that bought innovation, the blood that paid for discovery, the price of technique, the cost of success, the burden of knowing 7 men died so thousands could live. That's November 3rd, 1967. That's Loc's technique. That's scattered light detection. That's backward flashlight. That's innovation's price. That's discovery's cost. That's the burden of being survivor who invented solution too late to save friends. That's what Loc carries. 7 men. Forever. That's the story. That's the truth. That's the cost. 7 lives. 1 technique. 20 tunnels that night. 925 tunnels in 5 months. Thousands saved. 7 lost. That's the math. That's the price. That's the burden. Forever.